When someone passes, where do they go? Gone forever? Or can they show? What if you could find someone between to bridge the gap of those?
I'm Michele Livingston, and I've been a spiritual medium for the last 30 years, appearing on Fox News, New York.
Hello, everybody. I'm Greg Jarrett. Welcome back to Breaking News. To be a really interesting guest for the hour, Michele Livingston is a visionary counselor.
On stage with medium James Von Prague.
Did anybody smoke, Richard?
Yes.
I smell tremendous smoke even up here. Was that your father that smoked?
My father and my mom.
On ABC News.
Air, oxygen everywhere, you can't see it, but it's here. Same thing with the spirit realms. So even though it's in a beautiful invisible realm, I have the capacity to tap into it and actually see them. He says, thanks for the balloons. I have no idea what that means. Do you have your mother's ashes with you?
My brother and I had neck.
All right, Michele.
Tony.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
I know, it's so good to be back.
I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, and I am too. It's good to hear your voice. Someday we'll get to meet.
Oh, we will. I have a feeling, and I know that for sure.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about my new book. It'll be out in the fall. And the cover is up there on the, I guess it would be people's, there it is. Yeah, Inspirational Creatures.
Beautiful, by the way. Beautiful.
Extraordinary Animal Encounters. Kind of a chicken soup for the soul book. But I wanted to really thank today, depending where you're watching, all the people that submitted their stories of their beloved fur babies. And they're not all fur babies. This book includes really everything from dogs and cats primarily, but parrots. People submitted beautiful stories of parrots, goats from the farm. And when do you hear all this? Because you'll love this, Tony, with goats. I'm just joking. Bunnies. I have one horse story. So if anybody wants to submit a horse story, we're going to print in about a month.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I have a very beautiful horse story. But baby cows, I have stories on calves, cardinal, a gecko, which I think is interesting, ducks, peacocks, deers, a deer, and so on. So thank you, everybody. A lot of podcast watchers have submitted stories, and they're very inspirational. So I want to thank everybody. If anyone, like I said, has one more story, you can email me. It's Michele with one L. Livingston at michellelivingston.com is my email. So thanks, everyone. This book really touches my heart. I may get emotional tonight. Some people have emailed me and said, I really love animals more than I do people. I understand that.
I've heard that before.
They teach us unconditional love. There are many things they teach us, patience and tolerance and everything like that. So the book, it really has different chapters. One's on healing, one's on teaching, how they teach us, one's on friends and companions, how they've touched people's souls and hearts, and so on. But I just wanted to go through just very briefly, because I know we don't have a lot of time, because the main thrust are canines and felines. I thought I'd just give a little bit of background info on what they are, where they've come from, and so on. So canines, we know, is the Latin canis, C-A-N-I-S, and they came from wolves, originated from wolves, which most of you know, 32,000 years ago. So they have been around a long time. And we know that they're social pack animals, and they have a sense of smell 1 to 10,000 times more than we as humans do. And that's why dogs can smell cancer in the human body. They've helped a lot of people heal that way physically. Their hearing is 4 times as acute as we as human beings are. And they sense vibrations of the earth. So they know when pending earthquakes will happen or tsunamis. They are tremendous, tremendous pets, and we love them so. They're so loyal. 75 million families have dogs. And the next one I briefly want to talk about is Felis catus. C-A-T-U-S. So we have feline cats, and they appear to have been domesticated by themselves, and that would be just like a cat. They domesticated themselves. Because when agriculture started, of course, rodents got into the grain, and cats caught the rodents. So they were deified, really, in the very beginning. They first showed up in Asia. I wanted to say that. They went from clipper ships into America for domestication as pets. But there was another lineage line. This is really interesting. And cats started in the Fertile Crescent, it's called. So that was in Egypt, and that goes from the River Nile actually into Iraq. And it's so interesting because we love our kitties. I've had a lot of kitties throughout my lifetime. A lot of psychics or mediums have cats for some unknown reason. The Egyptians thought they astral projected with them, which I really think they do. I have a lot of dreams of my kitties that have passed on. But 88 million homes have cats, so they are the number one pet of all animals. And then I have stories on birds, wonderful stories. There's about 16 million homes that have birds, like parrots and canaries and so on as pets. Oh, and 14 million people have their wonderful horses. And I never had a horse. I wish I did. I love horses. I have a beautiful horse story. And like I said, if you want to submit one, I have a beautiful quote. Above each story, there's going to be a lovely, inspiring quote from someone. We have Hemingway quotes and just quotes from everywhere. But anyhow, and I wanted to go through this quickly because I know that we have limited time. We'll take phone calls. I didn't put up a number. I think it's there on the screen. And if you'd like to call, perfect. It's midsummer. Everybody's vacationing and out. But if you get to watch this, if you have an inspirational pet story or a dream of a pet or have felt your pet, pets can see spirits. I know that from doing some animal communication throughout these years. If your dog or cat looks up at the ceiling or goes to the door and the dog is barking for no reason, or even flops down for a belly rub and there's no one there, or a kitty just might stare around, I'm telling you, they can see spirits. Cats can, we not only know can see in the dark, but they can see through ultraviolet rays. And dogs can too, to a point. So kitties are very perceptive and they are very, very, very intuitive. Remember, animals are sentient beings. They have feelings and they work through telepathic communication. So I personally have 4 beautiful cats, 2 are rescues, and they talk to me and they talk to each other. And sometimes they get in trouble. I have 2 kitties. I nicknamed them Bonnie and Clyde because they're joined at the hip and they get into a lot of trouble, Tony. But have you ever had pets on the farm? I know you're from Kansas. We go through this sometimes.
Oh yeah, we had dogs, cats, horses. We had them all. We didn't have any pigs or chickens, but we definitely had cats and dogs constantly.
Well, they say pigs have the mind of a 2 to 3 year old.
Oh no, you can definitely know they're smart.
They are very intelligent. And yeah, I don't eat bacon anymore.
Well,
I might become vegetarian. Go ahead.
I said I don't eat a lot of bacon, but I still eat it.
It is good though, isn't it?
It is. Oh.
So anyhow, this is how the chapters run. The first one is called Soul Teachers. And stories were submitted about what lessons someone has learned from their pet, whether it's patience, or like I said, tolerance, unconditional love. We all learn. They all teach us something of value. And that's the first chapter. Second one is Healing with Love. There are various stories submitted that people have been emotionally down or depressed or even physically ill. And a pet comes into their life and they feel better and they actually get better. So I have to say it's not a placebo. Cats are not placebos, but dogs and pets. But believe me, they do, from their love, precious love, give. And once we feel that love, we're changed people. And the third chapter is dream communications. When we dream, whether it's a human soul that's passed or whether it's an animal, Our soul is up out of our body, and we're in the astral world. We travel through the astral world. Pets, we've heard of the Rainbow Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a connecting portal between our earth and heaven. Well, there are caretakers in heaven that greet our pets. There are family members that greet our pets. And sometimes during a reading, souls will come through for the person, and they'll bring the precious pet through, their beloved fur baby. And I've had more tears over pets than I have actually over human souls
Mm-hmm.
that have come through to say hello. But dreams are powerful. And if you remember a dream more than 24 hours, it's a vision. It's a lucid vision. And remember, you're up with your pet. And they communicate with us telepathically. The 4th chapter is companions and friends. People, sometimes when they live alone or in apartments or wherever they are, New York City it could be, they have one animal, probably a cat if you're in a big city, because they're easier to take care of. And they really bond almost as a family member or even beyond that. Some people, as I said, love their pets more than they do their family members, and that's fine. But companions and friendship is chapter number 4. 5 is heavenly signs and messages. So you might say, well, my kitty or puppy passed or whatever pet I had, are they communicating with me? Yes, they are. My kitty Miko, she was beautiful. I mean, talk about heart love. And she was born in 1994 in October. That's the 10th month in 1994. So I'll find dimes from her representing the 10th month. I really do. I find them all the time. And guess what date's on? 1994. She was my beautiful girl. And after she passed, I've had dreams of her. And that's also in the book, My Life with My Kitties, and how they've communicated from the other side. And they will do that. Also, search and rescue. I'm not a psychic detective, but so many people have called and said, can you find my puppy or kitty? It's going to be a chapter on amazing stories of inspirational, miraculous finding of pets that have been lost, sometimes for weeks. So I just wanted to do that quickly and tell you that the book will be out, like I said, in the fall. There is room for maybe 1 or 2 more stories. So if you're watching, I hope you are, please email me, Michele1L@michellelivingston.com, and sign up for my newsletter. And that's on my website. I think it's there. Is it?
Yes, yes.
Michellelivingston.com. If you go in there, there's a sign up for a newsletter. That'll keep you posted on when the book's out. And as I said, from all over the country, basically the world, even Afghanistan. Oh, wow. I had a soldier that wrote to me. He found a puppy in the rubble. Touches my heart, seriously. And that's and how that healed him through post stress traumatic syndrome. So yeah, they came in from all. I have one from England. I'm an insect. But anyhow, I wanted just to go over briefly. If you want to call in with a question about your pet, or if you've had an occurrence and you'd like to share it, and even if you have a loved one in heaven, maybe they'll bring through your pet.
Yeah,
so
you can also connect on Zoom.
On Zoom, and Zoom is up there. Tony, just very briefly tell us about Zoom. Again,
of course. So Zoom is a great platform. It's like what Skype used to be, but better. But all you got to do is we put the link in the Facebook Live or any place that this is going out to. Just go and click on the link. It'll open the directly into the feed itself. All you have to do is click on Join Audio and activate your camera. So you just join audio and activate your camera, and then that way Michele and you can see each other and hear each other, and then you can ask your question. So it's that easy. It's
that easy. And before my last seminar, we had a sellout. A couple people that saw this podcast came to the seminar, and it was wonderful. We're having another one September 30th here in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, Central PA, where I'm from. So I'd love to meet and greet you. Please come out and join us. So since I started the book, I'm not, quote unquote, an animal communicator. I started 30 years ago doing readings of human souls that came through, but little by little by little, animals started to come through. So I've had horses and dogs, cats, and birds that have said hello. But I briefly wanted to go over, what I did was I tried to pull a story from each chapter, something inspirational. And as I said, the first one is soul teachers, what they teach us. This one is called Looking Deeper. Above each story, there is a quote. And this one says, until one has deeply loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened. And this lady, who I love, her name's Trina. Some people wanted their first and last names. Some people just wanted initials. Some people just wanted a first name. But Trina Wasco is a friend of mine for many, many years and a good client. And she loves parrots or birds. She has 8 exotic birds. So I thought that was interesting. And she wrote to me. And I love this one because it's called Looking Deeper. It's a soul lesson that she learned. A couple called her to their house to look at their birds, their exotic birds. One was an African gray and one was an Amazon. The Amazon parrot was really proud and handsome, beautiful colors, and she fell in love with that bird. The other one was named Baby, and Baby was an African gray. Baby had all her feathers pulled out. The mother-in-law had passed, and it was the mother-in-law's bird. And, parrots live, they can be 100 years old. But, and it was a messy bird. So they called her a couple days later and asked her if she'd take Baby, the messy bird. And she said, yeah, I'll take Baby. This was a few years ago. So she says that she has the bird now. It's 28 years young, Trina says. She fell in love with Baby. And she says this, which I love this. She says, many times in our society, we judge others by the first appearance. And she says, my bird Baby is beautiful on the inside and on the outside, and has taught me to get past the look of one's outside appearance and to look deeper into another's heart and soul, because there can be so much more to see. And again, these are longer stories. Some are condensed for today, tonight. There are about 8 to 10 stories in each chapter, written by people just like you, just like me, that have had beautiful experiences. So the bird taught her that looks aren't everything. And that simple thing. And she has 8 more, I think she said. There's one also, Healing with Love. And as I said earlier, if you're watching and you love your pets, if you get up in the morning, you feel a little bit depressed or down, and your cat comes on your tummy and purrs and headbutts you, or your doggy, it lifts the mood. It lifts the gray day. So I do have to say that animals teach us so many things, and they heal us. And there was a story submitted by Dolores. She is a watcher of the podcast. So I hope you're watching tonight, Dolores. She wrote to me and said that her daughter, Gabrielle, who was named after Archangel Gabriel, was a beautiful young girl, but she had some severe health problems, tumors and connective tissue disorder, and a lot of things that have happened. So she literally missed junior and senior year of high school, and she lost a lot of friends. Both she, Dolores, and her daughter were allergic to any kind of an animal. So they didn't quite know what to do, because her daughter wanted a friend. And her daughter saw an ad in the paper that mentioned a leopard gecko. Can you imagine this?
Right.
And she got really excited because she wouldn't be allergic to the gecko. So they went to see this gecko, and there was a tank and the light and the caves and this whole thing. And the gecko's name was Moji.
Moji.
And she says when her daughter Gabby stood there and called the gecko Moji, it came out of its little hiding cave. Can you imagine this? Seriously. And she picked it up and put it on her arm and said, oh my God, it's like a little angel. So they call it Angel Moji. and they have a whole connection. I mean, it was like love at first sight. And what Dolores says, Dee, I call her in so many words, is her daughter has grown into a caretaker, to something other than herself. She's become Moji's official mom, and every night she lets him walk all over her body because he'll find the warmest place, wherever it is, and he plops down and puts his little arms and legs out. It's so cute. But she says that Angel Moji, the gecko, has given her daughter a reason to live, to get up in the morning, to fight her pain every morning, and puts a smile on her face. It's one example of a pet that heals us. It gives us love. Yeah, it is. It is. So dream communication. If anybody's watching, believe me, I'm going to France for my 25th wedding anniversary. I have to say that, which is coming up. And I'm doing one of these special events for July and August. And then September, I'll be back. So hopefully you'll catch this via YouTube or UBN or somewhere. So I know there's a lot of animal lovers out there.
That's right. That's right.
This one's called Vision of Scruffy Dream Communications. As I said earlier, pets don't come down to be with us. Our soul can leave between 11 to 3 in the morning, and it can go interdimensional in the astral world. And then we do come back. Sometimes we come back tired. But this is a very specific dream. The quote is from Jules Verne that I love. And it says, I believe cats to be spirits come to earth, and I'm sure they could walk on a cloud without falling through, which I find cute. So this is from Jane Bayshore. And she says that she went through a real hard time in her life with setbacks, losses of loved ones, a terrible divorce, was really down, went to the local animal shelter and found a scruffy, beige Persian cat filled with hairballs and everything else, matted fur, fell in love with it. And the text said, well, you'll have to clean it up. He just came in and he's scruffy. So that's what she named him. She named him Scruffy. They were together for many, many years. They slept together. They played together. He boosted her moods, and he helped her to feel human again, or to just feel good again about life. And of course, she had Scuffy 15 years, and that's long for a Persian breed. And Scuffy's health started to go down. She took him to the vet for overnight care, for fluids and for shots and for whatever, injections, just to keep him going, intravenous. And that night she fell asleep and had a vision. So remember, a vision is a lucid dream that lasts forever. And in her own words, she said, my fur baby boy came to me that night in a vision. And she said it was a lucid, glorious dream one. Scruffy was floating in mist, which I find interesting. And then she said, I was too. And I had never seen colors in Technicolor. It was just like entering the Wizard of Oz movie, kind of in Technicolor, in a way. Bright golden sunshine, butterflies. And she said there was Scruffy coming down this hill, almost floating down. His paws weren't even touching the emerald green, Kelly green hill. And he just kind of flew down. He was at her feet, just looking up at her. She said he never looked better. He was healthy. He was young. He was vital. And it made her feel so good. And she woke up and she thought, he may be getting better. And the vet called her the next morning and he said, Scruffy passed. Not good news. Scruffy passed during the night. So she feels that the energy or the spirit of her kitty came to her to let her know he was free. And her last words are, I believe my kitty's in a far better place now. I truly know that my prayers for him were answered that night. In his own way, he was saying to me, look, I'm free indeed. So that's just an example of a beautiful vision. Do we need to take a break, Tony? I just heard something.
I think it's time we have a little breaky poo.
I didn't know if I was hearing pets or spirits or what. I just heard a voice.
Maybe it is spirit saying, take a break.
Okay, thanks, Tony.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Michele has some more amazing words, but we'll also take some calls and see you on Zoom. So don't forget to click on your Zoom link. We'll be right back right after this message.
If you enjoy the Michele Livingston Show and want to see her in person, check out her next live seminar.
So here we go. If you can work with me, close your eyes. We're going to take 8 deep breaths, and we're going to start.
Have you recently lost a loved one?
Who lost a husband recently? I had to take a deep breath with him. I feel it was fairly quick.
Could you be the next one to get a reading?
I think I'm with you, sweetie. There's a name like Bree. Bree, they're showing me cheese. That's what. That's the new one. They showed me Bree cheese and her daughter's name Bree. See how this works?
This seminar will provide an experience that will truly enhance your understanding of the other dimensions.
When we get over there, we train to help 1 or 2 people that are on the earth plane, and we train to be their guides or their helpers.
And confirm that you
There's a dad figure coming through here.
are never alone.
Did you enjoy it? Oh, thank you so much.
All right, we're back with Michele Livingston.
We're back.
How you been doing, Michele?
Yeah. Also, I'm looking forward to September 30th, a seminar. This is not a buffet. It's not a dinner. We're just going to have a big open room with a lot of fun and questions and answers. And probably, well, hopefully my book will be there. This is my 7th book. If you want to see more of my books, go to the website, and it's michellelivingston.com. There are all types of books, from how loved ones communicate to the Blessed Mother. I had a vision of her, and paintings are in there that I've done. There's miraculous encounters. Spirit communicates in 10 different ways. There's the one that James von Prague approved, which is called Living in the Afterlife. And that's 33 souls that came through. One of them is Robin Williams, and other ones. Or friends or relatives of mine, and even clients that have passed. So that's called Living in the Afterlife. It talks about heaven, what happens in heaven. So if we're on the wavelength tonight of pets and animals, I do have to say, again, there are caretakers in heaven that will watch over your pets, and you'll see them. And sometimes during readings, they're the first, when a soul comes in, their pet is the first one they see when they cross through the connecting portal to heaven. I want to go on. So we're now at chapter 4. And it's animals as friends and companions. I kept the story short. Some of them are 5 and 6 pages long, but I wanted to do a variety tonight. Someone by the name of Roxanne is called the Squirrel Lady, and she wrote to me, and she said there was a horrific storm many, many years ago, and she felt wind just whipping and hearing it around her house and screaming. She didn't know what was going on in her backyard. She threw a robe on in the middle of the night. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, went down, and a little nest, a tiny little nest with 3 little squirrels, flew out of a tree. And the mother squirrel, and they don't usually talk a lot, but she was really going at it and looking at Roxanne saying, what are you going to do about my 3 babies? They were on the ground. And she picked them up, wrapped them in a robe. They were newborns. Took the squirrels inside her house. She had a friend that was rehabilitated wildlife. And she called her friend and said, what am I going to do with these babies? So she made up a formula. She nursed the little squirrels back to health and released them into the wild. And she said they were playful and they were fun. And she actually played games with them. Can you imagine this? Her dog loved them too, believe it or not, indoor squirrels. But after that, every spring and summer and fall, she'd get phone calls about orphaned squirrels. So she must have rehabilitated literally dozens of these little squirrels. Loved each and every one, named each and every one, and then released them back into the wild. So her story is the Squirrel Lady, and she says, I also had many memories of the love they gave me, and not only the fun, but I can never think of them, squirrels that is, as anything but God's wonderful creatures. So she says her backyard is like the peaceable kingdom. Well, let me ask you something, Tony. What you can interrupt anytime. What was your favorite pet?
Actually, my favorite pet, I had a few, but my favorite pet, my best friend in the whole world was my dog named Killer.
Was it a little dog or big dog?
She was a medium-sized dog. She was a terrier, and she was like white furry, and she was just, I don't know, just became like my best friend, and anytime I was sad, she would always be there for me, and same with my mom. She always protected us if somebody was not acting right around us. So yeah, she was a great dog.
Yeah, terriers are very protective, and also on that note, not only do people have to be around, like I said earlier, spirits. And when spirits are around, actually dogs will growl, or many times they'll go in a circle or look out the window and nobody's there, or they'll bark. So it's interesting that they can see through the veil, I call it. Cats and dogs and other animals, can see through the veil. And there was one about a parrot as well. That parrots become another parrot, this is, become very attached to their owners. The owner had passed away, and the parrot called him Dad. And they went to visit the parrot, the relatives, and the parrot sat there and had a whole conversation with the owner who had passed, or the caretaker. I forget his name, I think it was Jim. And he said, "Hi, Dad." And he did a whole conversation. And she said the room got cold, they got chills, but she said that parrot's head went up and down. And it was the most unbelievable communication she's ever seen verbally, of course, or heard verbally, between a pet and a spirit. So that's in there as well.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
I love these stories that you find in people that share their stuff. That's great.
What came in kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
They were just all so wonderful, Tony. You were all so wonderful. And then there's manifestations that happen as well. And these are heavenly signs and messages from your pet. So your pet can send butterflies just like a human.
Right.
Your pet can send birds. There's one about bluebirds, one about monarchs. A dog sent monarchs. But this one is from a golden retriever. It seems to be a pretty favorite dog with a lot of people. I know all breeds are, but it was submitted by Holly. They love retrievers, she and her husband, and the dog's name was Shiley.
Aww.
And she had Shiley for quite some time. Shiley passed in a month later. Her husband was on a photo shoot. His name was John, and he'd go throughout the country with a producer and other photographers doing photo shoots. And he ended up in the wilderness, actually in Oregon. There was nobody there. They had to march through the forest. And the female producer happened to look down on the ground and saw a teeny little plastic toy object. When she picked it up, it was a little golden retriever. And she handed it to John, Holly's husband, and said, "I think this is for you. I think it's from Shiley." And he was so shocked because there weren't even footprints. No one was around. So he called his wife and he said, "Honey, I have a gift for you when I come home." And he came home with this little tiny plastic, you imagine, golden retriever, toy dog, and she was just in awe. She washed the dog and turned it on its back, and on the belly of this little toy dog, it had stamped 2004. And that's the year they got Shiley.
Oh, wow.
And isn't that amazing? I mean, these stories are just amazing. And she said of all the types of animals to find in the middle of the Oregon wilderness, think about it, it would have to be a golden retriever with the year stamped on its tummy, right. 2004. And she said, "I know Shiley manifested this for me. It's a gift that helped all of us heal our broken hearts. She was our best friend." And she said it's a beautiful reminder of our pup Shiley. So, yeah, I have lots of stories. And like I said, Tony, some are longer than other ones, but yeah.
Well, we have a couple people in the call center, and we have one person in Zoom. I mean, would you like to?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's start with Let's start with actually a call first, and I think her name is Catherine. So let's see if we can get Catherine on here. All right, Catherine, you there?
I am here.
Michelle, can you hear Catherine?
Yes, absolutely. Hi,
Perfect.
Catherine.
How are you?
I am fantastic, my dear. How are you?
I am fantastic as well. I am just so fascinated with the animals. I have 2 cats right now, and I had 2 cats that passed away a few years ago, and I had them for 15 and 17 years.
Oh my! And
Yeah.
do you ever feel them or have dreams of them? The ones that are passed?
Well, I often think of them, so I would think that they're around. So I don't know, right? So I'm just kind of curious, and I'm just kind of listening to you, just kind of learning more about the whole animal spirit thing.
Absolutely. Animals, as far as I know, Catherine, do not have human souls in them. And there's a lot of conjecture about this. Animals have an energy or a spirit, and it's a consciousness. So there's a wave or sea of canine and feline and equine, if it's a horse. Once we love and befriend an animal, it pulls out of the consciousness and can come back to us. So during a lifetime, there was a movie about dogs. I don't know if anybody saw it, about dogs coming back and being reborn again and again. I forget the name of it. But did you have a striped cat, Catherine?
When I was a little girl, I did.
Yeah, well, guess what? That kitty's around you. And where are you calling from? Where are you calling from?
Portland, Oregon.
Oh, I just talked about Oregon. Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah, your striped kitty was very devoted and has been with you for quite some time. They can actually, Catherine, become spirit guides, animal spirit guides of us. And I'm getting from the striped cat, yes, and what I'm getting telepathically from your striped kitty is that you've come a long way since childhood. One thing that you've learned is not to let other people get you down, Catherine. You're very optimistic, and you try to look for the best in not only other people, but in life itself. You're an amazing person. And then, was there a tuxedo or a darker cat that you had, darling? A darker cat?
Yes, there was a darker cat, and the 2 cats I have right now are tuxedo cats. But I had a darker cat.
Well, I want to go, first of all, to tuxedo, because I saw black and white first. Do you know that the striped kitty that you had from childhood appears to one of the tuxedo kitties? They both have different personalities, Catherine, as you know, but one is much more, how can I say this, of your kitty cats, animated, purring.
Right.
Comes right up on you. That cat sees your kitty from childhood, the tiger kitty. That's the one that sees your tiger, who's now a spirit guide, my dear, of yours.
Oh, that kind of makes sense. That's very cool.
It does make sense. And they'll go to windows, and there may not even be birds there, but they'll go to windows or they'll purr. You have, one of the tuxedos is very healing as well. Either gets up on you or purrs, puts its paws on you. Which one is that one?
Well, they're both, I have 2 tuxedos. One's a male and one's a female. The male is always by me.
That's the one.
And yeah.
That's the one that sees your striped kitty. And I want you to know that, well, you already know this, honey, because you're an optimist. The bond of love is never broken. And I did see a darker kitty, more of a solid kitty, and that one's in spirit too, I have to say. But the tuxedos came to you in an unusual way. Are they siblings or not?
They are.
Because they're very joined and bonded, but they're opposite personalities to a point. Isn't that interesting? Animals have
totally opposite.
Right, like black and white, like tuxedos.
Well, they're a boy and a girl, so it's a definite girl and a definite boy personality.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. Yeah.
Well, bless you, my dear, in Oregon. Look for my book. It'll be out in the fall. I think you'd really enjoy the stories, Catherine.
I can't wait to get your book. I have a couple of your other ones, so looking forward to it.
And thank you for taking the time to call in. I appreciate it. God bless you, honey.
Oh, God bless you too. I think you're the best. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
That was a good call. I loved it.
Yeah, last state I mentioned was Oregon, and she's in Oregon.
That's
right. Interesting. Cats do have all animals have the personalities. You can have 100 different canines or felines, and each one's going to be totally different.
Oh, yeah.
They're like fingerprints.
Right. Well, do you want to try a Zoom, see if everybody's connected? And
let's see. Let's try the Zoom. That's something new for us.
Fingers crossed. So here we go. John, you ready?
Yeah, I've got a gal. The gal that's on there is asking not about animals, but about her very young daughter, whether she can see her relatives and so on. So,
okay. Are we going to bring her on?
Yep.
Here we go.
Hello.
Oh, look at that.
Hello, Devin.
So we're not hearing you on your
audio.
So make sure you click on your join audio.
Click on audio, darling.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Devin.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Beautiful. What a beautiful baby.
Oh, thank you. Her name's Mila.
Mila. Hi, Mila. Hi. Can you wave? Hi, darling. How old is Mila?
She's going to be 5 months old here soon.
How beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, she's waving. I see that. Hi. Do you have a question, Devin?
Yeah, I was just curious if she could pretty much see maybe loved ones. We have an owl picture in our home, which is my boyfriend's nan's favorite animal, and she always stares at it a lot. So I wasn't sure if she could maybe see loved ones that have passed.
Yes. Beautiful question. Children in the formative years from birth to 5 are in a different frequency, and their soul has not been in their body very long, so you'll find that she sleeps a lot, of course, but they are very connected to animal spirits and to human spirits. So she sees past pets that you've had, my dear. She sees, do you have an older gentleman pass, like a grandfather figure? Do you personally have a grandfather figure, older gentleman passed?
My boyfriend does, which would be his dad.
That's it. He's around you right now. And the baby sees him, honey.
Oh, good.
The baby sees him. Now, if she looks up and smiles or stares, just looks around, he's one of her spirit guides, Devin.
Oh, good.
Yes. You have a beautiful little girl. She's all babies are intuitive, and they can hear our thoughts, and believe me, she sees. And there's also another lady. There's an older female that is around your little girl. It's a grandmother figure or a great aunt figure.
My boyfriend's nan, maybe, or my grandmother.
Your grandma. Hi, baby girl. Hi, sweetheart. Hi.
She's getting fussy.
That's okay. It would be your grandmother. Your grandmother, Devin. Did you have a friend pass away, honey?
Yes, I did.
Your friend's here. I get someone behind you that's not a relative. And says, hi.
Is it a male or a female?
I just see jeans and a white top. Okay. And I'm trying to get them through. They're behind you, which means friend or, in-law. But there was a quick passing, and you've been saying prayers or thinking of your friend for some time here. And they want to say, Dev, hi, love you. Thanks for the prayers. They've been heard. And I'm with you sometimes. So if you feel your friend around you, because I feel you're empathic, they're with you. And actually, this is a soul connection.
He passed away in a car accident.
Right. And you've mourned like it would almost be a brother. I mean, you've really mourned.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm hearing. But guess what? Your friends in the light looks fabulous. The jeans I saw first, and then look kind of like a white t-shirt. Very attractive friend. And the baby sees him too. I do have to say this.
Yeah.
So animals and children between birth to 5 are in that same frequency, darling.
Do you have any pets that came through at all?
I have a dog.
Sabrina.
Yeah. Was very loyal at your right side, loved treats. Sitting up for treats, has to have treats. And there's something with the dog's teeth. So I don't know if you had to clean the dog's teeth, but it wants to chew on things like rawhide bones or to get its teeth cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
That dog's a trip, you know. And it's around you more than you know too, darling. Your doggy. So I appreciate you calling in, my dear.
Thank you so much.
And your baby's precious. Congratulations, Devin.
Oh, thank you. It was nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
Bless you, sweetheart.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. That was great.
I do have to say that was an excellent question because, again, when we are born, the soul enters with the first breath, which we call the breath of life. And when the soul re-enters, and I believe in past times, a new baby body, it takes a lot of energy shifting because we're going from a higher, faster frequency into a denser earth plane frequency, which says that her little girl is really, really connected, sees her friend who passed, sees Nana, sees grandpa, which would be basically her father-in-law. And I would tell people, even though the show's on pets, to keep a journal. If your child says, "Hi, Papa," and please encourage them to tell you what they're seeing when they can talk, and keep a journal and write it down. That's what my mother did for me. Put the date on, because about the age of 5, they'll go into a different frequency and they won't remember.
Wow.
When we start elementary school, we don't remember any of it.
That's a shame. That's a shame. I wish we could keep that all of our lives.
Yeah, but we'd all be walking around like zombies.
True. That's true. That is true.
You know, that's why I'm able to turn it off and on. Can you imagine?
Oh, gosh, no.
We'd be all
right.
locked up.
Well, do you want to take another call? Oh,
Sure.
yeah. Let's do it. All right. Well, we have Ryan from 717 area code. Ryan, you're on the air with Michele Livingston.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Ryan.
Okay, wasn't sure if you could hear me. I'm so excited. I'm sorry. I don't know if you could feel that.
I'm excited too. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Are you in my Facebook page or not?
I am, but like when I was on hold on the phone, I had to like click off of that because it was echoing with the phone and then being on that. So I was on the live feed. My mom's currently listening.
Oh, hello, Mom. What's your mom's name?
Her name is Michele, also with 2 L's though. She's seen you before. You did a private reading with her and some friends. This is, I forget when. It was probably 2003 or 4.
Oh my goodness, that's great though. Well, hello, Michele. Bless you. What's your question, Ryan?
My question is, I've had people pass away close to me, not necessarily recently, but you know, as everyone has throughout their lifetime. And I live alone, and I have 2 little dogs, and I swear there's some kind of communication there, and I don't know if that's possible, but I'll just be sitting at home alone. There's no noise, nothing, and they just go crazy. And it happened right before I called in today too.
Yeah. Well, the reason it happened before you called in is there's a grandpa figure. Seriously?
There's a grandpa figure?
Big grandpa figure. So it could be Michelle's dad, or it could be your.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's a character. He has work pants on, Ryan.
Oh,
and
wow. Oh my
one
gosh.
One of the dogs is really taken with him, and one of them goes to a doorway. One of your dogs goes to a doorway and sits either near a doorway. I'm serious, because the spirit of a grandpa figure, whether it's Pa or Papa, comes through
exactly
that door.
what they do.
your grandpa comes through one of the doors. I don't know if it's a front or back door. So does one of your dogs go toward back door? Does one of your dogs bark there a lot or go there?
Yeah,
Ryan?
Yes. I have a female and a male dog, and it's the female dog. She jumps off the back of the couch and runs towards the back door and just stands there and barks and barks and barks and goes crazy. And then, of course, the other dog will go running too, but you could tell he has no idea.
Yeah, this one's very intuitive. An old soul dog, and sees your grandpa, and he's a character. He doesn't taunt your dog, but he puts his hands on his hips like this. He puts his hands on his hips, and he just stares. He stares at your doggie, your female, and she goes bananas. She goes.
Well, it's just funny because my neighbor is a World War II veteran. We call him Mr. Bill, and she's so connected to Mr. Bill. And my mom's dad was also in World War II, so this seems very weird that she would be so connected to Mr. Bill. And then if you're saying it's my pap, that just seems like a crazy coincidental connection.
It's not a coincidence. It's for real. Your pap was proud to serve, Ryan. And he's so proud of you, darling. I know it sounds ordinary to say, but you've come a long way. You're on your own. You're doing things your own way. Your pap says you're a free spirit. I have him through. And he tells me, I love that one doggie. He says, I love both. He says, but the one really sees me. So it's very interesting that your one dog would be connected to the World War II vet. There's a lot of similarities here between Pap and that neighbor of yours. And
wow. Yep.
That's the reason. Interesting.
Wow, that was so cool. This is amazing. Thank you.
Well, thank you, darling. I'm so glad you called in. Tell your mother, Michele, hello. And I hope she has a reading and doesn't wait 15 more years.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Have a good night, darling. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Our mother had a reading in 2003.
That's been a few years ago.
Yeah, I've been doing it 30 years. Sometimes people call and, I said, what took? I said, don't wait another 30.
All right.
I may not be here, but.
That's hilarious. Well, let's do one more because there's still people in there, and I know these people are waiting to talk about animals. All right, I think this is Iris. Iris, you're on the phone with Michele.
Hello, Iris.
Hello. I'm not sure. Either talk about a dog, Rosie, or a scorpion.
A scorpion? Is that a pet? Of course.
No.
Okay. What's a scorpion to you?
Oh, it's known out here, like on the west, like Arizona, California. It has these little pinchers.
But do you see a lot of them, Iris?
No. There was an incident where my sister-in-law had a good family gathering, and there was one scene out of nowhere where she normally doesn't get them. And it was really huge. I don't know, it's maybe like 5 inches long, really big. And, they did capture it. We're just like looking at it through a glass jar, and then it was let go far away in the desert. And then I guess like a week or two later, another one showed up around her doorstep.
Okay, I want to say something very unusual here. I don't want to get on the wavelength of animals, but that is a totem symbol for her. Scorpions, as we know, they protect themselves. They make a lot of noise. I don't know a lot about them, but the reason that she saw a couple, have her look up totem birds, animals, and so on. A scorpion, believe it or not, is one of her symbols for protection. I know it sounds really strange, but because of the stingers and because of the way it attacks quickly, she needs to be on her toes, darling, emotionally. And who did you say this was? Your sister-in-law?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we took it a different way but
I know
just
you
wanted
probably
to
did,
clarify that.
but she's a good person, but she needs to watch decision making. Tell her not to be overly impulsive, Iris. Okay, and to protect herself spiritually with prayers and meditation. And if she saw 2 in a row, that's unusual. It doesn't mean it has to be every day that she sees them, but every animal or insect or creature has a quality. And when they appear like that, we're to find out what the quality is. But let's get back. You say you have a dog? Getting all this here.
Oh, yes. Her name was Rosie. I actually took her in. They needed to rehome her. I had no idea I'm not a dog person or pet person, but I had no idea what kind of dog she was. I just thought she was a pretty dog, and I met the dog in person, was playful, and liked me.
Yes.
But my husband pretty much took over the training because she was a female, so she gravitated towards him as a male. And we did have to end up rehoming her because we could not train her out of some of her aggressions. And I knew if we brought her back with us, there was a possibility that they would have put her down, and I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if
she was excuse me, honey. We're on a delay, Iris. She was afraid of loud noises. She was hyper.
Yeah.
I'm getting a very hyperactive dog who potentially had been abused or something loud happened, not just a thunderstorm, but something that was banged at her. Sorry, and passed on now, correct?
I believe so. Yeah, she didn't like a bunch of loud noises. She was very, she would start barking immediately with any little noise.
Yeah, but she's passed on over the Rainbow Bridge now?
I'm not sure. I believe she is. I just have that feeling that she probably is.
Yeah, I get kind of a feisty dog here. I think she is.
Okay.
Thanking you for having the patience or trying to protect her and help her. I'm getting that. And even though you said you're not a dog person, you had the love in your heart to try to help another creature. And there's a lot of gratitude from her. I really want to say it's her. She had these piercing eyes. Her eyes were kind of looked through you, if you know what I'm trying to say. She keeps showing me her eyes. And I'm getting a hyper personality, as I said, Iris. But you did the right thing. Do not have any guilt about her. She was with a female before you that was bipolar. I know it sounds really strange to say this. So she had a lot of, the person that she had, that had her before you, had a lot of mood swings and anger. And I think Rosie took that to heart because they're very telepathic. And this is why she went more towards your husband, honey.
Okay.
Is your father passed? I have to go, Iris, but is your father passed?
Yes.
He's here, darling. He wants to say hello to you. He's telling me that you need to watch your skin in the sun. I know it sounds funny. Wear a lot of sunblock, Iris. And there's shifting in the workplace for you or your husband, but it's going to be okay. Your daddy loves you, Iris. He loves you very much, sweetheart. All right?
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to say good night. Thank you for taking the time to call. What state are you in out there?
Arizona.
Okay. Well, bless you. Remember, the scorpion can be a symbol of a personality and something deeper. All right, darling? So God bless you, Iris.
All right. Bless you too.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Actually, good day.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Another great show.
I enjoyed it, Tony. Thank you for working with me.
Of course. So glad to have you back.
I'll be on probably next month, maybe mid-July. But God bless everyone. Thank you so much for watching and calling and listening. Love all of you. Take care of your fur babies. They love you, and I know you love them.
All right. Bye, Michelle.
Bye-bye, Tony. Thank you.
See you next time.
If you enjoy The Michele Livingston Show and want to see her in person, check out her next live seminar.
So here we go. If you can work with me, close your eyes. We're going to take 8 deep breaths, and we're going to start.
Have you recently lost a loved one?
Who lost a husband recently? I had to take a deep breath with him. I feel it was fairly quick.
Could you be the next one to get a reading?
I think I'm with you, sweetie. There's a name like Bree. Bree, they're showing me cheese. That's the new one. They showed me Bree cheese and her daughter's name Bree. See how this works?
This seminar will provide an experience that will truly enhance your understanding of the other dimensions.
When we get over there, we train to help 1 or 2 people that are on the earth plane, and we train to be their guides or their helpers.
And confirm that you
There's a dad figure coming through here.
are never alone.
Did you enjoy it?